One, two, three. It's a whole lot. It was very loud.
Alright, how's it going, guys? I haven't released a video in a little while, so thought I'd take an opportunity to do so. I did something the other day that was pretty exciting. I found it pretty exciting. It's a story as old as time. Man makes fire with friction, and or woman. But I did it yesterday, or a couple days ago for the first time, and I was pretty stoked. Jasper keeps coming along and stealing all my pieces as I hold them up and show them, so if he comes in and out of the story, it's just part of the experience. So anyway, there's a couple essential pieces that you need in order to do it. That's a bottom piece with a couple holes or indents drilled out of it or chiseled out of it, and then it's kind of on the edge of your piece, of your bottom piece, and then you want to smack some notches in there for the dust that's created by the friction to fall through and filter out and create a dust mound. I'll show you here. This is the piece that I used the other day. You can see that one is all scorched. That's from the drill spinning here and wearing down this piece. And the notches right there, I just smacked those in with my Mora knife. And here's the start of another drill piece that I'm going to do for you guys today. The other piece you'll need is this actual drill part. I'll call it a dowel. I made both of these out of cedar wood. That's what they suggested online because it has a extremely low ignition temperature. If you use another wood like birch or something else, like a hardwood, they don't ignite at a low enough temperature. You'd be going at it for hours before you would get anything. What hardwood is useful for is your top plate, which is used to hold the top of the drill bit or the dowel down, right? As you're moving this back and forth, spinning this, it tends to want to jump around, so you want to make sure that you're holding it steady, always applying pressure in the same spot. So they make it out of hardwood because there's least amount of friction on the top and the most amount of friction on the bottom. That's the reason also why you have a very narrow point at the top of the drill and a much wider rounded curve on the bottom of your drill, because the wider rounded curve is going to have more friction on the bottom and the pointed top is going to have less friction. So those are sort of the essential pieces. The other thing you're going to want is a bow. I just used some 550 paracord and my Sven saw. I figured if I was going to be in the woods, I'd probably have this on me anyway. I'm going to use this just to make things a little bit easier for me. Another thing that I have is my canvas pouch. I bring this on most of my trips. I have some dryer lint, I have a bunch of birch bark, and I have some pre-processed kindling, right? So I try to keep this as dry as possible, carry it with me in the woods or on camping trips or whatever. It's nice to have that ready to go fuel source in case, you know, everything's wet at the campsite when you arrive and you want to start a fire quickly and efficiently. And so I used a big piece of birch bark to collect all of the dust from the bottom plate and the bow drill dowel. And so what I do is I take this lint and I make kind of like a bird's nest out of it, right? I kind of pull it apart aerated a little bit, and I make a little bird's nest. This stuff catches extremely well. I'm going to take the ember, turn it into a flame. So I'll use this. I'll have it on the side, and when I collect enough dust and the ember starts, I'll take this bird's nest, I'll put it on top, I'll take the birch bark, and I'll flip it over. And then the ember will be inside this. And then I'll be able to hold this, blow some oxygen through it, get that ember smoking, and eventually this thing will burst into a ball of flame. And then you can use that to start your kindling and then your bigger pieces of wood. So I'm going to have that ready on the side for when the ember occurs. I'm going to give you guys a demonstration here of how you put it together. You take your drill piece, you wrap it around your cord. It should be really tight. You put it inside the little indentation you made in your bottom plate, which is made out of cedar. Take your hardwood top plate, put it on top, and it makes a lot of squeaking noise, so you'll have to excuse that. It drove me a little nuts because I was doing this for about 20 minutes straight, but it's necessary. I mean, in a survival situation, you're gonna have to put up with it. Kind of have to keep this thing going really like constantly back and forth. Don't push down too much. You want it to be able to spin. It doesn't take very long for the smoke to start. But it's not the smoke that's going to start your fire. It's all the dust that comes out of that notch and collects. So some smoke has already started to develop here, and when it gets hot, it starts getting sticky, and the wood starts to kind of bind. Right? There's already a bit of smoke there. It smells like burning cedar, which is nice. So I've already got a little bit of dust action going on. But the dowel gets worn down at the same time as the bottom plate, and you'll see it was once a nice round edge, and now it's kind of deformed, so I'm not getting all the contact that I need. You'll see there's like contact here and here, but eventually that'll be rounded off perfectly as all the pieces are making contact with the bottom plate. I'm gonna get this going. I'll collect a bunch of dust to get an ember going for you and have you guys see that process. So the dust is brown so far, but eventually it'll kind of turn out black. So that end is getting worn down. Nice and uniform now. see the ember starting to form. Oh yeah. Alright. Can you hold this? Alright, now you can see an ember is formed there, right? So I'm going to take this, put it right over top, flips upside down. Still in there. There you go. So you got your flame started there, right? And then layer your birch bark on top. Slowly, you don't want to smother it. Oh yeah. Put my birch bark on there, and then you take your kindling really quick. Right? Nicely. So I had all this pre-prepped, ready to go. Like I said, when you actually get the flame going, you're not struggling to figure out what your next step is. Right? On a cold January day, that kind of knowledge can definitely help you out in a seriously sticky situation in the woods. A friend of mine on the internet just last week, he found himself in the woods and didn't give himself enough time to get back in daylight. And he said that after that experience, he's going to be brushing up on survival skills and stuff like that in case he finds himself in a situation like that again. But it's also very cool, right? I didn't even use a lighter, matches, just 2 sticks. So that worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. Took about, I don't know, 15 minutes to pull off, with Jasper coming to steal all the pieces every once in a while. I'm definitely going to practice that a lot more, because not only is it handy, it was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, if you guys make some on your own, let me know how it goes. It's a cool thing to get to learn how to do. So when I first showed you guys this hole was burnt and dug out, basically, right? You can kind of see where the dowel went in there and dug it out. This is the hole from today. So it takes a good, like, I don't know, I'd say 1/4 of an inch out of the wood completely, maybe 1/2 inch, and that's how long, that's how much dust is needed. I hope you guys caught that ember and saw all the good stuff. I did forget to show you guys the setup where I had the kindling, birch bark, bigger pieces of wood set up, ready to go. You might have been able to see that when I put the piece down in the middle of the fire bowl there. But basically, before you get your, fire process going, you want to get all the pieces in order necessary to take the next steps, so there's no lag time. What I had was cut up a bunch of kindling, about like pinky width and smaller, of kind of quick burning wood like Douglas fir, maybe some pine. I also had some cedar in there, and then I had bigger pieces of Douglas fir ready to throw on top of that bundle. Before you put the kindling on, I had those strips of birch bark. They burn like wildfire. Like, it's super fast burning, catches very well. And then I threw bigger pieces on there, like this birch wood piece. So you want to have all those ready to go when you get your fire initially started. I don't even have to process my own birch bark. Jasper just rips it into tiny little pieces for me. Hey, thanks buddy. Anyway, that's it for me here, the Wild Geographer. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a subscription on the YouTube. Check out the 2020 Algonquin trip if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. And hope you're all doing well. Happy quarantining, guys. Take it easy.